I thought she was getting fired. So if you haven't heard the news, Kathleen Kennedy has got an extension on her contract for another 3 years. So guess what, guys? If you don't like what they've been doing with Star Wars, you're fucked because you're going to get another 3 years of it. Because, yeah, Disney extended her contract. Why? Okay, look. Okay, let me put my cards out on the table. I have loved the Star Wars Disney films. Okay, I love Force Awakens, Last Jedi. Whether you like it or not, we can debate about it. I know a lot of people hate it, but it was very successful, and it's in my top 3 favorite Star Wars movies of all time. I really enjoy that film. With that said, it's not perfect. There's actually a lot wrong with that film. I actually think the stuff that's good with the film overshadows the bad. That's just me personally. But the biggest problem I have with Kathleen Kennedy is not the qualities of the movie, because whether or not we needed a Han Solo movie, which I'll sit there and I'll tell you, like, we did not need a Han Solo movie, but the movie wasn't horrible. It wasn't good, but not horrible. It was a decent film. It was an average film. It's middle ground, right? So her movies haven't been bad. All of them have been pretty solid, with Solo being just average. The problem I have with Kathleen Kennedy is she has no game plan. That's my biggest problem with Kathleen Kennedy. You look at someone like Kevin Feige, who thinks like 20 movies out. Like, he has game plans for movies that hasn't even been announced yet. He has ideas on how everything's going to connect. And Kathleen Kennedy's like, yeah, we'll do Force Awakens, and then we're going to give the next film to Rian Johnson. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. And then Colin Trevorrow will finish up the trilogy. And there was no game plan. From the beginning, they should have said, what can we do to have a game plan for this new trilogy? This is the game plan. This is where we need to start. This is how we need to finish. You guys can pretty much have creative freedom in between, but this is how it finishes. And there was none of that. It was just, you know, passing the baton from each director. And then you look over something like Rogue One, which I like the film quite a bit, and then they try to do these standalone movies. They get rid of the crawl. They get rid of, like, all of the stuff that makes Star Wars special. Now, Solo, I heard, was supposed to be released in December, but Bob Iger over at Disney wanted it out in the summertime. It got overshadowed by Infinity War, Black Panther, and all this stuff. So that kind of goes on Bob Iger. But, you know, I don't want to criticize Kathleen Kennedy because I think she's a great producer. Her movies do come out pretty good, with Solo being the one exception, really, just not doing well in the box office because of all the different problems that was going on. The problem I have with Kathleen Kennedy is her vision. That's my biggest problem with Kathleen Kennedy. I don't mind her signing on for another 3 years, but I want her to kind of learn from her mistakes and, like, look, we need to have this through line. Like, when Benioff and Weiss does their version of Star Wars, I want them to have an overall story arc, and I want them to follow that. I don't want them to say, well, do this. Like, you don't do that with the main saga. You don't do that with the saga. And you got to stop doing all these spin-off movies. I know they canceled them all now, but we don't want a Solo movie. We don't want a Boba Fett movie. Just make a movie and then feature those characters. Like, it should have been like Smuggler's Run featuring Han Solo, but not Solo. You know, you can have movies with ideas and not have to sit there and focus on one particular character. And the one thing that I think Disney really needs to learn is lightsabers. For the love of God, we want lightsabers. The lack of lightsabers in this new era of Star Wars is baffling. It's baffling. People want to go see fucking lightsaber battles. That is what makes Star Wars so popular. Yes, you can love the politics. Like, I love everything in Star Wars, right? I read all the comics, all the novels, all the canon stuff. I love everything. I love the politics. I like the characterization. But at the end of the day, when we're sitting at the theater and we're looking on the big screen, we want to see lightsabers. That's the one thing the prequels have. Like, the lightsaber duels in the prequels were fantastic. I want Kathleen Kennedy to realize that, yes, you should have went with the Obi-Wan movie over Solo. One, you don't have to recast Obi-Wan, plus we get to see lightsabers. Also, we should have a through line for our saga. That's my biggest thing. That's my biggest gripe. We need to have a complete outline of what you want to do with your movies and stop trying to just shoot out a billion. Don't do what Warner Brothers does. Don't do what Fox does. Don't do what Sony does. You are Star Wars. You're the biggest franchise, or you were the biggest franchise. Be smart. Look at what Marvel's doing. Look what Kevin Feige's doing over in the MCU. Take that idea and just do that. And then just have a game plan. You need to have a game plan. But that's my thoughts on it, guys. I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about Kathleen Kennedy getting that 3-year extension on her contract? Be sure to leave your comments in the comment box below. And until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.